I love Deion. I love his son. His son should have been the first overall pick again. I'll say it. But I don't see how Shedeur is going to get any shot in Cleveland this year unless it's something like you experienced where everybody gets hurt.
Yeah.
Skip Bayless just couldn't help himself. The man who's made a career out of doubting legends, stirring up controversy, and making hot takes spicier than ghost peppers is once again back at it, this time aiming his skepticism straight at Deion Sanders and his son Shedeur. Deion speaks with confidence, with faith, and with the fire of a father who knows exactly what his son is capable of. But Skip? He's pacing, ranting, and basically waving a nope flag in every direction, acting like Cleveland and the rest of the league couldn't possibly see what Deion sees.
The painful point here is Shadeur's not in Boulder anymore. He's a fifth-round, fifth-stringer just trying to catch on with the Cleveland Browns or maybe some other team's practice squad if Cleveland cuts him. And yet, on a silver platter, Shedeur just handed all of his critics and all of his doubters and all of his naysayers, I told you so Exhibit A, I told you so Exhibit B.
For Deion, this isn't blind faith. It's vision. He knows Shedeur isn't just some quarterback who showed flashes in college and will fade away under NFL pressure. He knows Shedeur has the poise, the discipline, and the mental toughness to carve out his shot eventually. Deion has been positive, staying focused on the long game, reminding anyone who will listen that opportunity doesn't come overnight. You earn it, and when the door cracks open, Shedeur is going to bulldoze right through.
Shedeur's only hope in Cleveland is that the owner wants some kind of publicity splash at some point in the season, because that's why the owner stepped up and insisted that his coach and GM step back and take Shadur Sanders, because they had no use for Shadur Sanders. Trust me, no use.
Skip, however, has gone full negative. He's doubling down on the idea that Cleveland won't ever give Shedeur the chance he deserves. He talks as if this is set in stone, as if the script for Shedeur's career has already been written before the ink has even dried on his NFL contract. It's the type of dismissive attitude that has followed Deion throughout his entire career. People said Prime couldn't do half of the things he ended up doing. People doubted his coaching transition. People laughed at the idea that Colorado could be relevant. And yet, time after time, he's flipped the script.
The shock to me about Shadur Sanders now being the third-string quarterback for the Cleveland Browns was that so much was made out of unbelievable. He actually made the team as the third-string quarterback. Like that was a big deal. Like that was somewhat of a surprise to a lot of people.
Shedeur is following the same path. Analysts love to harp on the idea that he should have gone elsewhere, that sticking around was a mistake. They talk like they've got crystal balls showing every bump in the road. But the truth is, Shedeur knows his own ability better than anyone. He knows his resilience, he knows his patience, and he knows that talent eventually kicks the door down even when the gatekeepers try to keep it locked.
They re-signed a player they had cut. You'll remember him from New England, Bailey Zappi. They did that to Shadur Sanders. They went and signed Bailey Zappi because I promise you, Kevin Stefanski, the notorious Kevin Stefanski, who did in Baker Mayfield, did in Shedeur with Bailey Zappi. Even though they had cut him after he started one game in Cleveland.
The problem with Skip is that he's fueled by being the contrarian voice. If Deion is positive, Skip feels the need to be the exact opposite. If the Sanders family has hope, Skip feels like he has to squash it. And underneath all the yelling, you can't help but notice that green-eyed streak of jealousy. It's not the kind of jealousy that says, I wish I could throw like Shedeur. It's the envy of relevance. Deion's positivity is contagious. His belief in his son commands attention. His narrative inspires millions. Meanwhile, Skip is left doing what he always does, shouting from the sidelines, hoping that doubt sounds louder than faith.
The league wanted to teach him and his father a lesson. That's why he fell to the 5th round. But the problem is, Cleveland has the potential. As I look down the list, I could see him winning 7 or 8 games. Seriously, as I start looking at this.
The thing Skip fails to grasp is that positivity isn't naivety. Deion isn't pretending the road will be easy. He's lived long enough in the world of professional sports to know that politics, favoritism, and bad decisions from front offices can derail even the most talented athletes. But his positivity is strategic. It fuels Shadur, it stabilizes him, and it silences the noise of people like Skip who desperately want to see him fail just so they can say, "I told you so."
Obviously, the NFL tried to teach him and his father a lesson. You don't act like that. You don't talk like that before a draft. We'll show you how our game is played. We will watch you plummet all the way. I think he would have gone undrafted.
Cleveland has become the center of this storm. Analysts like Skip see it as a dead end, a graveyard for potential. They think no quarterback can rise above the dysfunction. But Deion refuses to let that narrative define his son. He's seen Shedeur play through adversity before. He's seen him stare down defenders twice his size, thrive under pressure, and deliver with calm precision when the whole stadium was against him. For Deion, Cleveland isn't a curse. It's just another challenge.
Allow me to conclude by getting angry once again about Shadur Sanders. The other day, I'm thinking, well, at least in Cleveland, at least if Flacco's going to get banged up, they're probably going to get Dillon Gabriel in there. You never know what could happen to Dillon Gabriel. He's smallish. Maybe Shadur gets his shot. And then I stumble upon the fact that the Cleveland Browns did this to Shadur Sanders, and I missed it.
Skip didn't just dismiss Shedeur, he disrespects the process. He reduces every young player to a box score and a headline, refusing to acknowledge the mental toughness required to survive in this league. He acts like Shedur's decision to stay was recklessness, when in reality it was strategy. Sometimes sticking to your path, even when it isn't the smoothest one, builds more strength than bouncing from opportunity to opportunity, hoping for an easier road.
Oh, he's entitled. He's spoiled, rotten. The last kid you'd want as the face of your franchise is this kid. See? Shadur, I don't care if you're the first overall pick in the draft or a fifth rounder, as a quarterback, as a potential face of a franchise, which I believe you can be and will be, you cannot get busted going that fast back to back.
And here's the kicker. Every time Skip dismisses Shadur, he underestimates how much pressure and negativity can actually fuel a competitor. Shadur grew up hearing about what his dad couldn't do. He grew up surrounded by criticism of the Sanders name. Now he's old enough to use it all as fuel. Skip's voice is just another spark in a fire that's already burning hot. The more Skip insists Cleveland won't give Shadur a shot, the more Deion leans into positivity. And this contrast has become the real show. On one side, you've got a father whose words are filled with conviction, whose tone carries belief, and whose attitude builds resilience. On the other hand, you've got Skip, arms folded, shaking his head, and refusing to buy into a story that has proven time and again it doesn't care about his disbelief.
Tom Brady on Jake Paul's podcast blasted me for saying he obviously told Raiders GM John Spytek not to draft Shedeur. That's my opinion, that's my take, and I know I'm right.
Too many analysts are lining up with Skip, convinced Shedeur made a misstep by not moving away. But they miss the bigger picture. Success in sports isn't just about location, it's about mentality. And Shedeur's mentality is sharper than most. He's not chasing shortcuts, he's not scared of challenges. He's trusting himself and the work he's put in. That's what Deion sees. That's why his positivity feels so unshakable. Skip's jealousy streak comes out clearest when you realize that he doesn't actually gain anything from being right. If Shedeur struggles, Skip won't suddenly become a hero. He'll just be the guy who sat in front of a camera and gloated over another young player's hardship. But if Shedeur succeeds, the story will be bigger than Skip, bigger than Cleveland, and even bigger than Deion's confidence. It will be proof that belief matters more than skepticism.
They love him. They took him 50 slots higher in the third round than they took Shedeur in the fifth round at 144 overall. 144th. Shameful. Disgusting. Despicable. 144th.
And that's what terrifies Skip. Because if Shadur wins, Skip's brand of negativity loses. His role as the contrarian doesn't look edgy anymore, it just looks bitter. Deion and Shedeur are playing the long game. They're keeping faith alive, stacking work in silence, and letting critics expose themselves with every dismissive take. Skip is the loudest of them all, and in doing so, he's accidentally making Shadeur's rise an even bigger story. Because every doubt, every rant, every jealous outburst just adds fuel to the moment Shadur finally gets his shot and proves what his father has been saying all along. And when that moment comes, Skip won't be able to spin it as just luck. He'll have to sit there and admit that positivity beat negativity, belief beat doubt, and faith beat jealousy.